Hey guys, my name's Keyan Houshmand, and today we're going to be checking out the brand new guitar that I just got. It is the Jackson Misha Mansoor HT6 Pro Series version. Let's have a look. So if you've watched this channel before, you're probably thinking to yourself, how has he gone and gotten another one? I promise that I can explain. Basically, this was on the market, on the second-hand market for 1,200 Australian dollars, which is roughly around 750 American, which is already cheap as it is. However, it's upgraded with Bare Knuckle Ragnaroks, a Hipshot USA bridge, and locking Gotoh tuners on the back, as well as a bone nut install as well. Keeping in mind that it was $1,200, I actually messaged a friend first asking him if he wanted it because he's been in the market for a guitar similar to this one. He declined and the seller ended up putting it down to $1,000. And at that stage I was pretty set on getting it for myself and ended up getting for a really good price. So for around $600 American, I ended up getting myself pretty much a mint condition Jackson Misha Mansoor Pro Series model, upgraded with Bare Knuckle Ragnaroks, a Hipshot in the bridge, bone nut and locking tuners. I have done a video on the HT7 Pro Series, which is also with the roasted maple neck just like this one. It was that orange one. I'll leave a video to that up in the cards here so you can check that out. And what I did in that video was basically compare it to the USA version that I already have. However, for this video, the approach is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to be talking about it, my experiences with it, if I think it's worth your time, worth your investment, and possibly if you want to buy one like this and upgrade it yourself. I definitely thought about doing it, especially before I got my USAs. I definitely thought about buying a Pro Series and putting all the bare knuckle pickups and all the fancy hardware in it, just like the USA ones, but I ended up getting my USA one in the long run. So now I'm posing the question to you guys on whether you should follow that or whether you should buy one yourself and upgrade it just like person before me did with this one. Before we get into it though, if you guys like this video at any time, please feel free to leave a like and a comment on anything you see or hear. And if you want to see more of this stuff, definitely think about subscribing. If you want to support me and what I'm doing, definitely check out my Patreon. I'll leave a link for that in the description, and that will just give you access to like tabs, stems, DI tracks for any original content that I make in the future. Jump on board if you're interested. So quickly going over the specs of this guitar, as you can see, it is a quilted maple veneer. This is not an actual quilted maple top like the USA ones, it's just a thin veneer that they've put on the top of a basswood body. You do get the really nice roasted maple neck, and it has two graphite reinforcements in the neck as well. Another good thing about the Pro Series line of Jackson Misha Mansoor guitars is that you do get the lumen lace side dots on the Pro Series version as well, which is super handy. They glow in the dark, and it's just really handy when you're playing at night or if you're playing on a stage or something like that. It's there, you can see where your hands are, and it's just really helpful. The frets on this one are nickel frets, and to my understanding the nut was upgraded to a bone nut. The tuners on the back have been upgraded from Jackson locking tuners to Gotoh locking tuners, which is a really nice touch. Moving on to the pickups, as I said before, these are a pair of Bare Knuckle Ragnarok pickups, which I was really happy to finally own. I have tried them before, but they do sound super pissed off and super awesome. It's also been upgraded, as I mentioned before, with the Hipshot Bridge, which is a really nice touch. It's the same bridge that's used on the USA ones, and it's something that I'm really used to now, so it's good to have that on this as well. You get the standard black dome knobs on this one as well, and the beauty of it is that it's exactly like the USA version. When you pull up the tone knob, that's when it activates. So when it's down in the normal position, you can roll it off as much as you want, and it's actually not going to affect your tone. It only works when you pull it up, which is super handy and just prevents you from bumping it around and stuff accidentally. 5-way selector, that is bridge pickup, split inner coil, both pickups, split outer coil, and then the neck. All the carves around the guitar and stuff, around the heel, around the back of the guitar, it's all exactly the same as the USA version, which is really nice. And it also has these like engineered strap buttons, which is super handy as well, just like the USA versions. A lot of people have asked me about like the neck profile on these types of guitars, because don't get me wrong, it's not Ibanez wizard thin. I have tried a lot of Ibanez guitars, I've owned some in my lifetime, and they're definitely not that thin, but it's not thick either. It's not like thick like a Gibson or like maybe an old Schecter or something like that. It's just got enough meat on it so that it's kind of like you can hold on to it. There's something to grip where it's still fast playing. You can still get around the fretboard really easily. The setup of this guitar is a little bit different to what I usually have it. The action is a little bit higher, but to be honest, I don't mind it at all. I'm thinking of kind of modifying all my other guitars to kind of feel similar to this one. If I'm not mistaken, the setup was done by Michael Harron at Harron Custom Guitars in Melbourne, which is really, really cool. And the action is like a little bit higher so that you get less fret buzz and stuff around the whole guitar. It's kind of, you hear every note ring out a little bit clearly. Yes, you do have to put a little bit more effort in when you're playing, but honestly, I think that translates into a better tone overall. Right now it's in a very standard setup. It did come in standard E, but I have dropped it to drop C sharp, and I'm pretty sure the string gauges on it at the moment are 10 to 46. So now posing the question onto you guys, should you consider buying one just like this and upgrading it yourself, or should you just go all out, save a little bit more and get the USA version? In theory, it may seem smart to buy a Pro Series and upgrade it, but there's a lot of things that people don't actually talk about, where it's really, really subjective. It kind of depends on your approach to upgrading the guitar. Say, for example, you bought bare knuckle pickups that you wanted to put in your Pro Series guitar. If you're not comfortable with soldering it in yourself and doing it all yourself, that's at least 100 Australian dollars just to get it installed into a guitar. So that's automatically another $100 on top of the pickups, which if you're buying them in Australia, that's $400 for the pickups, $100 for an install. That's $500 just on the pickup. It's also my understanding that with these type of guitars, they're actually retrofitted to almost fit exactly with the USA pieces if you were to upgrade it yourself. So for example, the bridge that Jackson originally uses, just the Jackson branded bridge on the normal Pro Series model, when you upgrade it to something maybe like a Hipshot, just like the USA versions, all the bolts and stuff are the exact same, so that's pretty straightforward. One thing that may be a little bit different though is the tuners. Some tuners may have different tuner holes, so you may have to drill into the headstock, which again, if you aren't comfortable doing that yourself, you can always take it to a tech, but they are going to charge you for that service. Similarly, with upgrading the nut, if you're not comfortable with banging the nut out yourself, putting a new nut in, gluing it in properly and filing it yourself, that's another thing that you're going to have to take to your tech, which again has an installation cost. So really at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to buy this and upgrade it yourself, keeping in mind that it will have some installation costs if you're not comfortable doing it yourself. But in the long run, maybe if you buy the guitar brand new, it's around 1,500 Australian dollars plus 500 for the pickups, then plus probably another 200 for new tuners to get them installed and another 200 for the bridge. So altogether, you're looking at nearly $2,500 worth of guitar and installation costs. Do you want to put that up against maybe a $3.5 grand, $4.5 grand USA Jackson? That's completely up to you. Keep in mind that the resale value will be nowhere near as good as the USA Jackson, that's for sure. If you're not fussed about that though, that is a great route, and to be honest, I was very, very fortunate to get this for a very, very good price, and it plays like butter, honestly. The previous Juggernaut Pro Series model that I tried out on the channel was a HT7, so it was a 7-string version, and that guitar, there was nothing wrong with it. It sounded great, played great. However, there was a problem with the nut, that when I went to do a restring, the nut wasn't actually glued on properly, so that was a bit concerning considering that you're paying 1,500 Australian dollars for a brand new guitar. However, with this one, with all the upgrades that it had, it hasn't really had any hiccups like that at all. However, I'm not going to say to you that you're going to have no problems at all getting a new one, because all guitars have problems really at the end of the day, and some are a little bit worse than others. So in conclusion, if I had to give this guitar a score out of 10, considering all the upgrades that's been done to it, I'm probably going to have to say somewhere between like an 8.5 and a 9. This is a really, really great playing instrument. Sounds great, feels great, looks spectacular, and with a couple upgrades, you can really, really turn these Pro Series guitars into something special. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through some tone tests with this so you guys can hear the guitar in its raw form and kind of make some judgment calls for yourself. I'll try to get a variety of tones in there as well as a variety of different song styles so you guys can see how versatile this guitar can really be. So that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys like this video at any time, please feel free to leave a like and a comment on anything you saw or heard. And if you want to see more of this stuff, definitely think about subscribing. Massive thanks to all my Patreons. Without them, I wouldn't even be holding this guitar right now. And without you guys, I would not be doing any of this. I'm really, really appreciative for what you guys do for me. If you guys want to become a Patreon yourself, definitely check out the link in the description. But until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.